Have you ever been seated in a bar, cafe, or restaurant and overheard the people at a nearby table? They're louder than necessary. Some of them know what they're talking about, while others clearly don't. But more often than not, they're fascinating to listen to, right? Well, that's us here at the A&A Coffeehouse. So pull up a chair, hang out, and eavesdrop. We don't mind.
Hello and welcome to the A&A Coffeehouse. Go ahead and have a seat wherever you like. Adam and Anthony will be with you shortly. While you wait, please enjoy a cup of our delicious coffee. As always, we have Colombian, cappuccino, espresso, and Americano. For our specials this week, we have Super Tuesday, Apple vs. the FBI, and another set of espresso shots. Enjoy the warm fire while you listen to original music performed by the Corner Laughers. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and tune in.
The elder capuchin offers absolution to the people of the town.
Ariel, who is the band that is playing the opening song?
Corner Laughers.
And what is the song called?
It's called Dead Sicilians. You can find them on iTunes, you can find them on YouTube, and a link on our website and all our social media. They play shows in Sacramento, they play songs in the Bay Area, including San Francisco, Redwood City, Berkeley a lot, actually. They've been to the UK. They actually played where the Beatles first played.
So if you like them, if you like their music on iTunes or their CDs, you can easily go see one of their shows.
So look them up.
Gracious enough to give us the use of their music.
Use their music.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the A&A Coffeehouse podcast. I'm your host, Adam Kincaid. Sitting across from me is my co-host, Anthony DeFranco. Sitting to my left is our lovely producer, Ariel Ayers. And sitting to my right is a special guest host replacing Alvaro today. He's ill. He's got smallpox. This is Elizabeth Jeter.
Hi, guys.
So, we have 3 topics for you, like always. Actually, I guess we have more than 3 topics.
Yeah, more.
One of them's espresso shots.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, our first topic is Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday.
Unfortunately, Super Tuesday is not some kind of very, very heroic day of the week. And
it's not fabulous either.
It depends where you are.
I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, so there was primary elections or caucuses, mixtures of both, in 11 states and 1 territory.
Wow.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 states and 1 territory. Which people seem to have great trouble figuring out beforehand, because I still have saved an article saying tomorrow they're going to be doing 14 states, another one saying 13 states, one saying 16 states. It was 11.
Oh, wow. Did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be 14, too. Like, that's what all the news networks have been saying.
Yep, it was 11.
Wow. Crazy.
Unless they just refuse to announce the results of 3 of them.
Wow.
Still, days later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so how did that go? Who won Super Tuesday for the Republicans?
Pretty much, it's the a-hole Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump won 7 states, Ted Cruz won 2 states, and Marco Rubio won 1 state.
Yeah, then didn't Hillary win 6 states for the Democrats?
Hillary also won 7.
Oh, she won 7. Wow. Then Bernie won 4?
Yep.
Wow. Very
So
cool.
Bernie got over half.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean? Is this relevant to anyone? What does this say about the state of things to come?
Well, if Trump becomes president, we're screwed. That's what the first thing it says. And the second thing is, well, Hillary looks like our front runner so far, the way things are going. Which, for me, as a Hillary fan, I'm like, cool. All right.
But it's a little surprising, too, because Bernie has such a following. I'm surprised that she had so many more states than him, almost double.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
I have an argument to make for Bernie in just a moment.
Yeah, Adam loves Bernie.
A
I've
lot
seen the bumper sticker.
Yeah, he feels the burn.
A lot of the
Definitely.
people who really like Bernie are not at all disappointed by what happened. Because it's almost exactly what they expected. I'm jumping ahead of myself.
Okay.
I have a thing for Bernie in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, the states that voted: Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia all went for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the Deep South went for Donald Trump.
Did you hear that the Deep North, Alaska? Do you know who they went for? Anyone? No. Ted Cruz.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Alaska went for Cruz, along with Oklahoma and Texas.
Wow.
So those are Cruz's 3 states.
That sucks for Republicans if they have to choose between Trump and Cruz for their, president, since they're the top 2. And Rubio, everyone's ignoring Rubio. Well, no one's ignoring Rubio. The Republicans want, the mainstream Republicans want Rubio.
And Rubio won Minnesota.
Uh-huh.
And he came in second almost everywhere.
Yeah. Didn't he win one state?
That'd be Minnesota.
No, Minnesota, yeah. That's a state?
Minnesota is a state.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So Rubio came in second in Virginia. Kasich came in second in Vermont.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump came in second everywhere that he didn't win.
No, okay, that's
so
good.
Several of those states actually went to Trump second. Yeah. Actually, Kasich got second in most of them, not Rubio.
Wow.
I misspoke. I just assumed. Weird.
Yeah, then I heard some news today that Dr. Carson is planning to. He hasn't officially said it yet, but he's not going to the debate that's supposed to happen tomorrow night.
Yep, he's not going to the debate. He basically admitted he has no chance of winning. He might not be campaigning in any more states.
Yeah.
Hasn't officially dropped out. And he remains committed to America.
Yeah, but he needs to just drop out. It's like, jeez, come on.
Yeah, right now Donald Trump has 319 delegates to Cruz's 226, Rubio's 110, Kasich's 25, and Carson 8.
Wow. So, I wonder when Kasich's going to get out of there. If Carson's probably going to get out of there very soon.
That's actually part of my next question. First I want to ask about Bush. So, when the hell did Bush leave the damn race? He got snuck out of the race. He ducked out of it
Jeb Bush
last week.
Disappeared.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks ago?
At least 5 days ago. 6 days ago now.
Well, I know that we put on a extended edition of episode 14.
That was last week's episode.
For last week's episode. I think Bush got out the couple days before that. Before it was put online. Yeah.
Oh yeah, according to his thing, it was 8 days ago now.
Wow.
So 1 week and 1 day.
Wow.
So it was the day before the last episode.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, I didn't even hear about that for a while. Neither did anyone else have brought it up.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, Bush, if this was like a normal election year, Bush would have probably been number 1. That's the thing. But, because of his brother, and what he did to our country, that's probably one of the reasons why nobody wanted brother, number 2, because of,
But you have some of those Bush supporters who still are like, George W. Bush was the best.
Yeah.
You think some of them would have come, rallying
yeah, exactly.
for another Bush,
But that was pretty funny,
maybe they
though.
have Trump now, so they're like, next best thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that was probably it.
Well, it's no big surprise that he dropped out when he did, because he's been polling really bad in his home state.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Oh yeah, my grandmother lives in Florida. She's conservative, and she didn't even like Bush.
Yeah.
She's a retiree, and I guess he did something to script something to do with old folks. I don't know what.
So it's no real surprise he dropped out. He was facing the prospect of losing his home state, and losing in your home state is always really, really, really bad for your future career, and just embarrassing.
Yeah, very embarrassing. But now that would be terrible if Rubio, whenever Florida happens, if he lost for his home state.
Yeah.
Because, Cruz, he won Texas,
Yeah.
That's like, that's good that he has the back, of his own state.
Although currently Cruz is looking good well, he just won Texas. Rubio's looking good in Florida.
Okay.
So, he's not too worried
That's
about
good.
that.
If it's like if Sanders lost Vermont, that would be kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, but I think people on both sides would be like, that doesn't sound
Did
right.
Vermont go yet? Did they
Yeah,
go?
and Vermont went Bernie 80% for Bernie.
That's good news.
So, Cruz's goal is to just keep winning things. What's Rubio's strategy now? What's Rubio going to try to do?
He's gonna probably do more Trump bashing because he never did it before.
Oh my god!
But now he's turned up the heat, like making fun of Trump's fingers, saying they're small. Supposedly that's like something Trump doesn't like.
Yeah,
people say
Trump's apparently got a
Because
weird
that has
obsession with
everything
his
to do
fingers.
with
Yeah.
your political policies.
Yeah, there's a bizarre
Exactly.
video that you can watch.
It's crazy.
That I actually have saved on my thing right now.
Computer.
Yeah. Of Trump and Rubio just bashing each other back and
I
forth.
saw that. And there was like a video post online, like
Yeah.
the Republican candidacy is just a shit show
Yeah.
in general. Just
I liked,
is.
yeah,
It was ridiculous.
Rubio's big thing. Donald Trump doesn't want to make America great again. He wants to make America orange. That was one of his big ones. Yeah.
interesting.
What does that even
What does that
Well,
have to
blue
do
and
with
red doesn't.
anything?
What color does blue and red make? If you
Well, no,
mix
it's
them
because
together?
everyone's saying that Donald Trump is
Purple.
personally
yeah.
orange.
Oh, that's
Donald Trump is
why.
an orange human being.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah.
of his bizarre skin
Oh, they keep calling
the
him
fake
doctoration. Yeah.
I think honestly, putting politics aside for a moment, the problem with Donald Trump is he doesn't get enough sleep per night. No, that's the truth. He in a interview I saw with Anderson Cooper, he actually said that he doesn't sleep a lot, and that could also be some of his problems.
I'm just picturing Donald Trump sleeping well and then all of a sudden being awesome.
Yeah.
That's why
If
I
that's
laughed.
all it
just
took.
like, what if that's the only
Well, they
problem?
say Bill Clinton
That's it.
only got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night.
Home state, then he'll.
Except so far, he's winning his state by a pretty large margin.
Oh, okay, then he'll stay in probably after that.
So his plan is to win Ohio, which will bump him up to, or possibly ahead of Cruz and Rubio.
Wow,
So all he has to do is stay until Ohio comes around, and he can be in second place.
wow, very cool.
He just has to survive to Ohio.
Yeah. What's the next states after since Super Tuesday's gone? What are the next states?
The very next states are going to be on March 5th. Those are Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maine.
Oh, this weekend. Awesome.
Yeah. And then 3 days later, the 3 days after that, we've got Hawaii, Idaho, Michigan, and Mississippi.
Wow.
And then 3 days after that is Washington, D.C. 2 days after that is Florida, Illinois, Missouri, North Carolina, and Ohio.
And
That's the one to watch.
yeah, I just it's now finally all the voting. Now it's moving fast. I think this is like everybody who has been watching politics for a while. Like, oh, thank God, because we're starting to get tired of the candidates that we want to support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so, unless you have something else, is that enough for the Republicans?
Do you want to mention about Rubio's dick jokes or anything?
Go ahead, Tony, take it away.
Well,
You're
Adam.
a dick joke expert.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
High praise.
So Adam was showing us a video earlier of Rubio desperate to get attention, and
Desperate for love.
Yeah, desperate for love too. And he's actually gone to the point where he's actually gone to Trump standards a little bit on his insults. Yeah, like I think we already said, making fun of his fingers and stuff like that, but also making fun of Trump's hands being small, right?
Same joke.
Yeah, same joke.
Yeah.
But
One
was
joke about his fingers in his hands.
but referring to his So there's that, and then there's like other things too, right?
My favorite part about that is they did an interview with Donald Trump's sons, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. And they asked them about the state of the race and what they think about Rubio getting more vicious and going after Trump.
But they didn't ask the press didn't ask them about his dad's dick at all, right?
Yeah, they kind of. They asked him about what,
Oh,
they,
wow.
thought, what they thought about that specific
I
joke.
would hate to hear their response. Were they like saying it's very big? I mean, if they said that, it's like, whoa, hey.
No, again, they asked about that joke. They said, "What do you think about that joke?" And they said, "We find it very, very disappointing that Marco Rubio has lowered himself to our father's level."
Whoa! They actually said that?
Yes. They go on to
Whoa.
explain that it's okay for Donald Trump to do it because he's always at that level. That's his actual level.
Yeah.
Since Rubio is on a different level, he has had to lower himself to get to where Trump is naturally.
They actually have a point with that.
Yeah.
As
They do.
horrifying as that
Yeah.
is.
Wow.
So,
Interesting.
He's naturally like that. He can't change himself as a person.
yeah.
Did you guys see that thing on Facebook about Donald Trump? It's like 3 different stages of people making comments. The first one is somebody saying, Donald Trump will never win president. There's no way. And then, like, 2 years later, the president can't do that. Donald Trump
Oh, I
can't do
did see
that.
that.
And then the last one, something about the Hunger Games. Like,
Yeah.
I hope my district wins the Hunger Games,
Yeah.
because that's literally where it's going with Donald Trump if he is voted.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I did see
It was
that.
so hilarious. It's like, that is so accurate.
It is.
Saved it.
Alright, so I have a question in a second that I don't know if you can answer, but it's been baffling me. So, the Democrats. Who won for the Democrats?
Mostly Hillary. Yeah, Hillary won 7 states.
Virginia, Texas, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Georgia, Arkansas, and Alabama.
7.
All
Wow.
went for Hillary.
And then Bernie won 4.
So, Colorado, and Minnesota, and Oklahoma, and Vermont all went
Wow.
to Bernie. I have one really big question.
Okay.
Alaska's not on that list.
Oh, maybe Alaska has their primary separate or something.
It's not coming up anytime in the near future.
Well, I know Alaska is a very, very Republican state. Though
I just found it. Alaska's March 26th for the Democrats.
Though they are a welfare state, which is very odd. It's like, wait a second, I thought less government here. Hold on.
What's the total population of Alaska?
It's low.
Yeah, it's like
because of frontier.
under a million, right? It's
Yeah.
small.
Ariel is looking it up right now, the estimated population of Alaska for us.
And she does.
Yeah, she
As
does.
of 2014, there was 736,732 people.
That's
There you
go.
small.
Mm-hmm.
Alaska's
amazing.
rough
I
the
mean,
size of
compared to-
Monterey.
Yeah.
California, yeah.
How many people are in California now? It's like 13 million or something?
Too many.
No.
Again, 2014, 38.8 million.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
It's
Mhm.
like 3 times
It's the
as much
size
as
of a
I
small
thought.
country.
Good news, if we ever have to go to war with Alaska, chances are we'll win.
Mm-hmm.
Although
just lead
Alaska
us
still
deeper
probably
into
has
the
more
cold.
guns.
Yeah, and plus they're allowed to carry.
That's true. We wouldn't be able to get any guns by the time we
Yeah.
were.
Right.
We would just lose.
Alright, so Clinton won a whole bunch of those. Clinton still has more pledged superdelegates. Although, actually, they're even gaining on that. So right now, recently, Hillary had, I think, 430-something delegates.
Yeah.
And Bernie had 40.
Mm-hmm.
Now Hillary has 1,000. Bernie has 427.
Wow.
So even with pledged delegates, the superdelegates, Bernie's roughly half of what she has. Which is a hell of a lot better than a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
A couple days ago. So everyone's talking about how this cements Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's pretty much guaranteed now with her 1,052 delegates, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, but it's too early. I don't know if the math is going to add up yet.
Why?
It's because we finally got to the big states, and the winner-take-all states aren't here yet. That's the thing. You gotta we get to the winner-take-all states, then we'll start seeing a change.
That's true too.
But right now, what don't they usually split it in half or something? The points, if it's like, or split to a certain percentage.
Yeah,
Per
they're
person.
percentage based.
Yeah.
But so how do you know they're not going to go to Hillary?
Who knows? But though a lot of people now are seeing Hillary in the lead, so they may change their vote.
Well, and polling for quite some time has listed Hillary's best states. Do you know where Hillary's absolute best states are?
The one she just won?
The Deep South. She just won those.
Yeah.
You know where Bernie's best states are?
The Deep North.
Yeah, all the states still coming.
Wow.
And Vermont, that just happened.
So that's going to be interesting.
So all of Bernie's best states are yet to come. All of Hillary's best states just happened. Also, Hillary just won all of the exact same states she won in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't bode well.
That is not for her.
Her map is matching exactly with what happened, except the percentages are different.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing worse.
Oh, crap.
Bernie is winning all of the states that Obama won with better points.
Yeah.
See,
At this exact same time in 2008,
Bernie.
Obama was doing worse than Bernie is right now.
Well, President Obama. Well, Obama was doing worse than Bernie is now.
Yeah, Bernie's doing better than Obama was doing at this point in the race.
Wow.
He's got more delegates. He's got more campaign money in his coffer. He's got more donations coming in, and he's got more people working for his campaign
Wow.
than Obama did.
Wow. And he's doing bad. Wow. Interesting.
Except he's not doing bad.
Nope. So
just
Bernie.
people are saying he's not doing
It just
well.
seems like he's
Because-
doing bad because the states haven't gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would presume it's also because of the millennials. You got these millennials who are now growing up, who have lived through President Obama and who lived through Bush, and they really loved what President Obama was doing, and well, they want more free stuff, kind of. When they keep hearing free college and free healthcare and free this, and they're
Free
like,
with
yeah.
a little asterisk next to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not free because we're all
Somebody
gonna
has
have
to
to
pay for it.
It'll be
Yes.
us, the taxpayers. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's
it's
not us,
interesting.
the taxpayers, unless you're a millionaire that I don't know about.
No, but according to Bernie's plan, everybody, even us, will have to pay $500 extra per year. It's estimated per year for healthcare and stuff like that for Bernie's plan.
Yes, but our taxes would also go down.
Yeah.
Our percentage rate would go down significantly with a 500 tax for that.
Yeah, but at the same
So
time,
we'd
though,
still be paying less.
though the thing is that he is cutting our taxes and also raising our taxes at the same time, kind of
Yes,
thing. So it'll be the
exactly.
same probably.
It'd still be slightly less, according
Yeah.
to Forbes. So according to Forbes magazine, he would cut our taxes like 9. The number 9, he would cut our taxes 9, and then rebuild, add on to our taxes 7. So
it'd
we'd
be
still be
down by
paying
2.
Exactly.
But he'd be kind of taking by cutting taxes. That means less going to pay the national debt.
No, because he's
Doesn't
adding a
take
whole
none of
lot
it.
more to the rich people. So say rich people are currently paying 10, he wants to up them to like 17, and then add the 500 on top of that.
So it's less
okay.
of a burden on people who don't have money than the people that can spare the money have to pay more, and it evens out.
Yes.
Which
So-
is how it should be
Exactly.
anyway.
Agreed.
And the fact that it's never quite been there is
Yeah.
like mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But rich people are going to still though do all because all the loopholes
get
and
the loopholes,
donate
they
and things
get
like
the
that.
rates,
They're going to be paying less still. They'll find
yeah.
some other thing they can donate to. Some
But one of the
charity
other
or
things they
something.
want to do is close the loopholes. They're saying you want to donate? Okay, fine. Donate because you're a good person. You're going to get nothing in taxes for that. Donating should not give you a benefit in taxes.
Wow.
That's one of the things they're saying.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But though, yeah, I same here. It's like
They're saying above a limit. They're saying so like you do it, you can get like $300 back in your tax write-off. If you donate more than $300, you're not getting anything else. Coca-Cola's
right.
not going to donate $300. Coca-Cola tends to donate like $1 million and get $1 million tax
but
write-off.
though, isn't that also kind of like punishing the nonprofits at the same time that are going to probably get less money from these giant companies now because of something like that?
That's true. You don't want to like encourage people to
Squash
stop
it, right.
donating.
Yeah.
Because they won't get their. And it's not like if you donate $1 million, you get $1 million back.
You don't. You only get
No.
a small percentage of it.
Well, and the difference with that is, though, is most countries don't give you a tax write-off here for donations. Most countries don't. And the big corporations donate anyway because it makes you look like a good guy.
Oh yeah,
That's true. Might
it's
be
also
brownie
free
points.
advertising. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not free advertising, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good publicity.
Good publicity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right
all
now
sorts of
you
stuff.
So then right now it's publicity with a little benefit.
Yeah. So they want to close off a lot of these loopholes. And there's a big guy who just wrote, it's a French dude, who's trying to get something to go around, and lots of people are buying onto it. He's going to be winning a Nobel Peace Prize, almost certainly. He's got a plan for a world wealth tax. So to get everyone in the world to agree to tax the wealthy on a certain amount, so it's no longer viable to flee the country. If you're rich in America and you don't want to pay the tax, you can go to Europe, where they're going to charge you the exact same fucking tax.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah,
You can
but
go to
right
Africa,
now,
where they're going to pay you the exact same tax.
But right
Or move
now-
to China with the cheap labor, where they're going to charge you the exact same tax.
if it's looking pretty good if you open a business in Europe, especially in London, even if you're in the movie industry, 80% of your production is tax deductible. That's why people are fleeing Hollywood. Going
Yeah.
over there. It's like, damn, that's pretty good. But yeah, so you could see, from both perspectives, the pros and cons of raising or, decreasing taxes, where it's good and bad for the economy.
See, the difference of that, though, is I can see it being good for the economy because it's the right thing to do, and bad for the economy because a bunch of rich people are super selfish and don't want to pay their fair share.
Well, what if it's like just a tax that everybody pays, like a flat tax? Just everybody pays a certain amount. and
That'd be
that's it.
terrible. Several
That would be
countries have that, and it is
terrible.
absolutely horrible. It bankrupts the economy.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
bankrupts the poor people and
Because
ruins
you
the middle
can't
class.
get it low enough to where everybody can pay
The same amount, yeah.
or high enough to where it makes a difference. Like
Yeah.
the working class will not be able to reach it, or the wealthy people will barely be paying anything.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make
doesn't-
enough money.
And one of the
Make a
big
difference.
problems, one of Bernie's big things he talks about, is just the wealth gap. Poor people should be richer. Rich people should be poorer. We should close the gap between the two.
Yeah.
Not keep the same amount of difference that we have right now.
I heard one of the dumbest things the other day, that Donald Trump says that we're making too much money. That's right.
How could he say that?
Yeah, exactly. The workers are making too much money, and he says that he wants to compete with China by having the American worker make less.
Why would he even be saying he wants to compete with China? They're a communist country. It's a totally different system.
Exactly. They're rigging the system.
Completely different
If this was
system.
the 50s, he'd be blacklisted right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And the book that I'm talking about is called Capital in the 21st Century. It's by Thomas Piketty, a French economist. And he's probably going to be nominated for a Nobel Prize because of this specific book.
Did you hear
He's the
Trump
one
was
talking about the
nominated
World Wide
for?
Wealth Task.
Did you hear
Oh, God.
Trump was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes.
I was like, what the hell?
Thankfully, he's not going to win.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's like what he's saying doesn't sound like peace.
Yeah, that was like a practical joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nomination board was just like, we're just going to throw that
Yeah.
out and see how people react.
Oh, jeez.
But
Yeah, that was crazy. It was like, remember President Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize, immediately going,
The Nobel Peace Prize.
the Nobel Peace Prize. You've won a Peace Prize, my child. Amen. Bless you.
All right.
But
we
yeah.
can talk more about this later on, because I'm sure it's going to come up perpetually. So, yeah. Last thought before we go. The wealth disparity between the rich and the poor. Do you know how bad it is right now?
You know, how bad?
Very.
We, America, right now, have the largest wealth gap in the world. We have a bigger discrepancy between our poor and our rich than they do in India or China or anywhere. We have the worst in the world. That sounds bad, right?
Yeah.
We also have the worst in history.
Oh, wow.
We have a worst wealth gap between the rich and the poor
Worse
than
than-
ancient Rome.
Worse than communist China.
Worse than communist China, worse than ancient Egypt,
Wow.
worse than Nazi Germany. We have the worst wealth gap between the rich and the poor of anywhere on the planet in all of human history.
Well, oh yeah, well didn't
Right
we...
now in the United States.
Remember we had a couple years ago that third world, the people who do the health stuff for third world countries came to Oakland
Yeah.
and was helping people out a couple
Yep.
years ago? I mean, that's just, that actually,
Basically
wow.
saying Oakland is a third world country.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We should be ashamed.
We should-
And again, all the stats for everything I just said are in the book Capital in the 21st Century by Thomas Piketty.
He's not paying us. We're just advertising for free.
We just like books.
But if he's listening, we're more than happy to let him pay us.
Yes, please, give us some money now.
We are poor.
Yes.
We are that working class.
Yes.
If you're Thomas Piketty, get a hold of us on the A&A Coffeehouse Podcast.com and send us a link on the contact button. This little button says contact. There you go. Anyone else can do the same thing. All right,
Nice.
moving on to topic number 2. All right, everybody, and welcome back to topic number 2.
Oh,
No,
number
Tony.
two. Number
Tony,
two, dude.
we're watching you. You should just invest money and buy one of those things or just do the
Yeah,
damn
just an
sound
Echo, right?
application for you.
You can
Yeah.
have it on,
I can do it on my program.
There you
Yeah.
go. So, a couple of months ago, there was a shooting in San Bernardino, California. 2 people, husband and wife, got a gun, shot and killed a bunch of people down there. We
that-
actually talked about that on the podcast.
It was an office party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was our one and only live episode because we actually talked about it while it was happening.
Which is like very awkward for a terrorist to attack an office party. We were like,
It was
I-
also
yeah.
awkward to talk about it live while it was happening
Yeah.
because most of our information was wrong.
yeah. It's
Although I
crazy.
will point out, me and our students were correct against Daniel, who insisted we were wrong, and we
Yes.
were right.
and
Daniel was
adamant
wrong.
That you guys were off your rockers.
I'm gonna name that name of this episode. Daniel was wrong.
that
That's not
works.
gonna be the name.
Good.
Maybe we'll
No.
see. So yeah. So the shooting happened down in San Bernardino. The FBI is currently looking into it. It was a terrorist attack in California. The FBI gets involved. Much of the information might have been transmitted via an Apple cell phone, an iPod, an iPhone. And the FBI cannot get into the iPhone to find the information because these people activated some kind of security system that apparently any of us can do in our iPhones. Takes a little bit of extra.
It's the code where you have a 4-number code and you can have it set to like after 10 tries it'll delete everything on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Memory wipe thing.
Yeah.
And there seems to be no way to get around that. Like, at all. It doesn't exist.
Apple
So-
knows.
Yeah. So the FBI has requested that Apple find a way into the phone. Apple said it can't be done. The FBI then requested that Apple invent something to get them into the phone. Apple refused. So the FBI went to court and got a court order from a judge ordering Apple to invent something to hack into the phone so they can get the information on these terrorists. Apple has refused.
Go Apple.
Woo.
So we've got one in favor of Apple. What do
I
you
have
think?
an Apple phone. I would prefer to not have, like,
I do too.
You know,
I think
just-
that's an excellent thing that you can lock your stuff and it's so secure.
well, and that they're
But-
refusing to.
But if it's a
Go back on
a
business.
matter of national security,
That's why I'm.
that's where it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Apple is standing up for the customers. Like, no, we're not going to hack into their stuff. This is private. They locked it and didn't want anybody to see it. That's their thing.
I'm
But
50-50.
people die.
Right? It's a tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one to say. It's
Yeah.
like, well, they're dead. So it's
Yeah.
like, break into their phone, they're dead.
Plus,
You know,
when
it's
a
okay.
terrorist attack, it's a different set of rules.
Yeah,
I mean, after
because what if they had something
9/11,
else planned?
they were tapping into everything, and everybody was fine with it. The
Yeah.
Patriot
See?
Act just made it okay, but because this is smaller scale and it's at home, suddenly
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as much.
Well, here's the difference. The difference between these for you two is Apple has already said if we had the information, we would happily turn it over. We are not protecting their privacy.
Oh yeah, there was something about the cloud that the county screwed up or something, where when they updated their cloud or something like that, because the terrorists were using the county
Yes.
phones.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
That comes up in the case before Congress.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but so as far as the privacy things goes, Apple says that it's not protecting their privacy. It would happily give it. Apple does not have the information. Apple cannot get into the phone.
Yeah, because it's the individual who makes the
Yes.
passwords and information.
So
and
the
things like that.
FBI isn't asking them to turn over the information because they realize Apple doesn't have it.
They're
So what does the FBI expect them to do?
invent the technology to get the information.
But
Yep.
even
back.
if they could get it back,
Well, then Apple says that it probably can invent it. Apple says we know how the algorithm's done. We could invent a skeleton key that can get into these.
But then
what
the
about when your information's permanently erased? Can they still find
No.
it again?
No.
Is
Well,
that what happened with this phone? Is it
No.
permanently erased?
Oh,
no.
That's why the
It's
FBI doesn't
it's
want to
just
keep trying.
locked. Okay.
Yeah, they're ready to erase it.
oh yeah, because aren't the phones made differently from like the traditional hard drives, where they just can't, if someone crashes a hard drive, they can't try to put it back
Correct.
together now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it static or something?
Yes.
A static hard drive? Okay, yeah.
And so Apple is saying, again, we would turn over the information if we had it. What we are not willing to do is invent a flaw for our own product.
Yeah, because someone can, and again, I can see
That's
Apple's
what I
point of
was
view,
saying,
because
with
someone,
protecting
if
the
they can make it,
customers.
someone else can make it, or
Well,
someone
they say
can
they
take
can
it.
make it. They
Someone
say
can-
exactly.
Yeah, someone can take it.
They say if they invent it and give it to the FBI, FBI now has a skeleton key into all Apple phones.
Yeah, that's what I was referring
That's where
to.
it gets sticky.
Yeah.
And then the NSA will be like, hey, FBI, can I borrow this program? Or they'll just come in and take
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Or someone else who breaks into FBI because FBI doesn't have
Mhm.
unhackable programs.
Well, is there any way they could give Apple the phone, let Apple do it privately, and then turn over the information?
What Apple's worried about is if they do hack the phone, because they'd have to give the phone back. And the FBI analyst can then get onto the hacked phone, reverse the hack, and just make it themselves.
Yeah, make
Yeah.
a copy.
You think the FBI would want to do that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
why
It's not
doesn't
you can do it with any phone.
the
They wouldn't have to go
FBI,
through this ever again.
if they can actually, if they already copied the formula that's currently on the phone, why don't they just hire an ex-Apple employee to do it?
Because right now, no single Apple employee knows how to do it.
Yeah, they
It
haven't
requires a
invented
team.
it yet, I guess.
They would
Yeah.
have to
They
sit
could.
down with the technology in front of them and say, okay, how would you redo?
Or how would you,
undo
how would
this
you
thing?
add this code into this current code, or disable something on the code to make it work? Because I think once a code's fixed, it's kind of hard to add something to a code that's fixed and operating.
It's
Yeah.
like when we try to redo the schedule, one thing messes everything
Yeah.
up around
Start
it. You
again.
have
Yep.
to have the perfect pieces of the puzzle
Mm-hmm.
set up in very specific ways. Wow,
Yeah.
we're teachers.
It's exhausting.
Nerddom.
But yeah, so one of the things that lots of people are complaining about is everyone is taking sides on this, and everyone seems to be completely different
Polar
worldviews.
opposite.
Yeah. So there's the FBI people who have the worldview of we need to be safe. We should not have anything that is unhackable, so that the government can get into everything to find out any potential terrorist-related stuff and keep us all safe.
But at the same time, not all hackers are government officials.
Exactly.
So you want your shit protected.
So the other half of the worldview is saying, we don't care about that. The bigger concern is privacy.
Yeah.
We have a right to privacy, and you should not be butting in, and we know that you want to butt in, and that has unfortunately been made very, very clear that you have, in fact, been butting in.
And even more than privacy, like security, like your identity theft, things like that are even more. I mean, privacy is important too.
Yeah.
But I think, like, in the broad scheme,
Identity theft is.
your identity needs to be protected. And
Yeah.
everything we do online.
Well,
on
like,
our phones.
or like, if you text somebody your like bank number, like
Mhm.
like my mom
gosh,
helps
yeah.
me with the rent occasionally, and
yeah,
so
my
she'll
brother
text
just texted me his.
Mhm.
So somebody hacked into that and found it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I
That
think
would
I erased
compromise.
it. Still.
Yeah, exactly.
Still.
But if they
I
could
don't
get
want it
into
out
it,
there,
they could probably
you know?
get into it. Yeah. That's just a creepy, horrible idea.
That's why now I just make anagrams with Latin words that say something totally different. I go 60s style, you know. That's how they used to do it back then.
Leonardo da Vinci, backwards handwriting.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the future. So Apple has made clear that this is going to largely be a moot point in the near future. Because the next iOS, is that what the program's called?
Yeah.
iOS?
Yes.
The very, very next iOS that they have that will be coming out, they say, probably within a year, they claim is unhackable. No one can hack it. They say even they will be unable to. They say, so if this happened in a few months, you'd say, hey, can you hack me? And say, no, we literally cannot.
We designed it
problem
to
solved.
be unhackable.
Why don't they just get rid of the delete everything feature?
No, that's what they want.
It sells phones.
Yeah, that's absolutely. That's part of the unbreakable security. Apple is saying we want unbreakable security, so no one can ever get into these.
But you would think if they make it, they would know the way to unmake it, like to get back into it. How is there a way that
Right.
you can create something that you can't uncreate ever?
They explained it earlier, and I read the explanation. I didn't quite understand it. It's something along the lines where they make it, and it has 3 different sets of revolving algorithms that go around at different combinations. So there's no possible way to know it. You have to know exactly all 3 algorithms at what point they are in, set at what certain thing
Gotcha.
on the phone.
So you just have to pretty much, if you have the code, or if you're watching the algorithms as it's going, if you had like a separate monitor or scope.
Except there's basically no way to see the algorithms. They're designing them to be invisible.
So you
Oh,
would have to
whoa.
just know them.
Yeah,
That's
you
crazy.
can't see them. You
Yeah.
don't know where they are. You don't know what they're set to. There's 3 of them in sync.
Wow.
And if you do it wrong a couple times, it deletes everything.
Wow, that's crazy because the old school, you look at the algorithms and you record the pattern, and then the pattern usually repeats itself.
Yep.
Then eventually, once you have the recording, see how it
Which is why they're
goes.
making an invisible algorithm. Otherwise,
Wow,
you can't do
crazy.
that.
Yeah, so
They're
you can't
saying-
even look at it, and it's randomized, and there's several different ones.
And
but
it'll
all at
erase
once.
itself.
And
Yeah.
it'll erase itself.
Because though things that are random
crazy.
aren't really random if you know the formula or the way it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these
in the
aren't
code.
random. They are random based
I didn't
off of
mean
whatever
random.
code you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
it's random
randomizes
based off
once
of...
you decide on
Yeah.
your set.
So it's not random, but it is, however,
personalized.
based on whatever your code was.
Yeah.
So you can't crack the randomness unless you know the code, at which point you don't need to crack the randomness because you have the damn code in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, crazy.
So crazy.
So, the government is contemplating suing Apple, telling Apple they cannot invent this.
Whoa.
Wow.
Isn't it
Or at least they have to have a backdoor to get into.
technically censorship? Are they going to cite that?
Isn't that an invasion of, like,
everything?
enterprise rights, like, as a free business?
Undecided yet.
And remember, they said
Businesses
businesses
have,
are
like,
people
right?
too.
Yes, that's
yeah.
exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
But so
So-
we'll find out.
Hmm.
So, what do you think? Should we have uncrackable technology? What if we arrested Bin Laden an hour before 9/11 and he has all the information on his phone and we can't get in? On the other hand, what if we have the NSA doing what it's actually doing and watching all of us and reading everything like Tony's convinced they can already get into the Apple phones?
Yeah.
Do we want the NSA getting into all of our stuff and spying on all of us constantly?
Well, and like, not to bring this into it, but people send photos that are very personal that not anybody else should be looking at.
Remember comedian Jon Stewart was making a joke about people, he was talking to Edward Snowden about
John
people
Oliver.
sending,
John
Oliver, sending
John
dicks,
Oliver.
sending dicks at each other, and the NSA are looking
You
at the
would
dick
hope
pictures
the FBI
laughing.
and NSA have better things to do.
But the NSA is
Yeah.
actually
May or may
confirmed.
not.
Yeah.
People who left the
This has
NSA
happened.
confirmed that they frequently pick up
But
nude
I-
pictures.
I mean,
sent around.
honestly, I wouldn't even really care about that. I mean, it's that difficult thing where if you
Yeah.
have something to hide, like something like a threat to security,
Mhm.
then you worry about it. I mean, human error and humanality, dirty pictures
Yeah.
or whatever, that comes up all the time. It's gonna come up.
Right.
So
But they're
should we
looking
have
at it
uncrackable
directly.
phones?
It's a kind of a gray area. It's like, one of the things
Like, I would love it in one way,
Yeah.
right? But
Like us personally, all 4 of us in
Yeah.
this room are not gonna.
we don't want,
that would be great.
Terrorists.
Yeah.
So not have our
Yeah.
identity stolen. But
Yeah.
if there was a national security threat,
Mhm.
Then
we would probably want to get into those fucking phones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
agreed.
Now, this isn't the only case, though. There was like other cases around the country. Like, for example, there was like a murder of some woman, right? I forgot what town or what city it was, but they can't solve the case. To this day, it's been a couple of years. They don't know who did it, and they can't get into that phone because of that deleting feature.
This is what Apple just won, actually. That's the one that was in court just recently, and Apple was arguing, saying they're not going to crack the phone, and the judge ruled in favor of Apple.
Really?
Yeah.
Saying what?
You can't make Apple crack their own product.
Well, and I mean, it's hilarious because there are so many other ways to solve cases. It's just they're mad that the easy way, back way, isn't available to them. Like, you can't throw a fit because they didn't make it easy for you to creep on people.
Even worse, this is what Tony brought up a minute ago. This is what Tony started talking about, and then I stopped him. Is, like he was saying, the San Bernardino shooters had a back door into their phone. Their stuff is not saved onto their phone personally. It's saved onto their iCloud.
Yeah.
We
means
knew
it is
their
out there.
iCloud password.
But the county screwed up when they updated their accounts.
No, the FBI requested it.
Uh-huh.
The FBI contacted the iCloud and requested that they change the password.
Why?
No one knows. The FBI won't answer the question.
So is this just the FBI saying,
Or what if the
how do
FBI
we
didn't
get Apple
change
to
the...
crack their own product?
Yeah.
The FBI confirmed that they did before Congress. That's the next thing
So
we're
the
talking about.
FBI said to change the password.
The FBI just went before Congress. So the United States House Judiciary Committee on Tuesday, so Super Tuesday, had the director of the FBI in. And they had a committee in Congress where they talked about this, a hearing. It was 5 hours long, and they asked the FBI director, James Comey, did the FBI request that the password be changed for his iCloud account? And he said, yes, we did. Congress asked, why? He refused to answer.
That means national security. If he doesn't answer, probably
He could've
national
said-
security.
But so, one of the things Apple is saying is, you had a back door, you had the password into this.
Yeah. You created this issue
You
for
shut the
yourself.
door, forcing us to try to do this.
Is interesting.
I think in this case, like this very specific situation, I side with Apple. Especially knowing that, like, the FBI could have done it if
Like,
they
that's a
wanted
crucial
to.
piece
Yeah.
of the puzzle there.
I like how you waited to the end.
Yeah, after we're all
Yes,
arguing
that.
about
And this is new news. I'm moving along with the story, because this actual story is 2 weeks old now. But yeah, so what just happened is, so he did that, and his response is, why did you do this? His response is, all I'm going to say is that there was a mistake made in the 24 hours after the attack.
What does that mean?
Cryptic.
Ugh.
Well,
So cryptic.
the thing is, which is really crazy, that
Spy.
the NSA actually has agents in the FBI that actually work for the NSA. Really, everyone's
trust
spying on
anybody.
each other. That's really nuts. Yeah. And so maybe whoever that FBI agent was, whoever changed the password, did it because of something on there that was, they didn't want to see.
But so, one more thing that's just really odd. So, very quickly, Apple's original refusal to do anything to the court order is they said, we don't have to. We have to follow court orders, but the court can tell us to turn over information we have. The court cannot make us invent new technology. The FBI said, actually, we think we can. So, the FBI is going after Apple, saying that they can make them invent new technology to hack into the iPhone using a law called the All Writs Act. Do you know when the All Writs Act was written?
I'm going to presume, what, the 40s?
What do you think? The
How's it
All
spelled?
Writs Act.
The Ritz.
ALLWRITS Act.
Probably the 40s or 50s? I don't know.
What do you think, Ariel? When was the All Writs Act written? The law that the FBI is currently trying to use to force Apple into building
When
a
do I
technology.
think it was written?
Yeah.
Knowing you and this question, probably like 3 days before that this happened.
Oh.
You're all ridiculously wrong.
What?
The All Writs Act that the FBI is using to try to compel Apple was written in 1789.
Wow.
And what does it state?
The law was written 227 years ago.
What does it state?
It says that federal judges have the legal authority to enforce all orders in their courts.
So it's incredibly vague and
Yeah.
just like the basic truth.
Yeah. So the judges are saying you
Without
have to
bringing
build
in-
this, so according to the Rights Act, judges can enforce any order in their court, thus you have to build it. We can compel you to build something new.
Except that that's if the court rules with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
The court doesn't agree with the FBI so far.
No, the court did rule. The court sided with the FBI and ordered
Oh, I
Apple
missed
to
that,
build the
I
technology.
missed
But if
Yeah.
you appeal,
And Apple refused.
but if you're
Gotcha.
appealing, you don't have to do anything until the next court says something. Because if this is the case, then everybody would be open carry again and stuff.
Yeah.
And it should be like,
Oh,
wow.
yeah. So many things would be decided.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the FBI's actual law that they're using is 227 years old. That's the law that they've picked to go after Apple with.
Wow, it's
They
crazy.
couldn't find anything
They're
better.
reaching.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. Alright, I'm gonna give a shout out here before we end. Once again, we are all teachers, and a good portion of my argument and my understanding of this was actually contributed greatly to by one of our students. He's very, very tech savvy, and he sat down with me earlier and helped explain portions of this argument to me, Apple's argument specifically, and several of the big things I just talked about and based my conversation on is from him. So, good job. Thanks a lot of credit to Q.
Heck you.
Agent Q. Nice.
Yeah.
Woo.
He's a smart.
Awesome.
Alright.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so that's the end of subject number 2. Topic number 3.
Alright.
Three.
Alright. On to topic number 3. The
3.
coffee bean. No, espresso shots.
Yes.
So once again, we're going to go through a number of news stories, none of which deserve their own topic,
Rude.
but all of which should be, none of them deserve it. They didn't try hard enough.
You're such a dick sometimes.
Maybe one day, if they try hard in school.
I think all those topics should just go home now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Like Donald Trump's tiny fingers.
Oh my gosh.
Anywho,
Yeah.
We're spiraling.
Alright. So I'm sure you guys have all heard about terrorism. I'm sure you guys have all heard about Russia. Did you guys hear about the weird terrorism in Russia?
Oh, was it about
Definitely
the
weird,
severed
too.
head?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay, I heard about that.
So, a woman was arrested at the metro station in Moscow for shouting, "I am a terrorist, I hate you, you are the enemy, the end of the world is here, the end is nigh, down with America, down with Russia," things like that. Which is fairly typical nowadays, actually. Problem is, she was waving around a severed human head.
what?
That's
Where
of
did she
a
get
4-year-old
that?
child.
Yeah,
It was a 4-year-old girl.
She was supposed to be babysitting the child, but then
Yep.
she lit the house on fire and took the severed head
She
out.
murdered the
Yeah.
child, then chopped off the
Yeah.
girl's head, then set the apartment on fire, then took its head to the metro station, began waving it around and
That is
yelling how
truly
she's a
horrifying.
terrorist and things like that.
There are actually pictures of this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the video was released. You can look at the actual video. There's a 4-year-old girl named Anastasia. Her parents had 2
Russia
kids.
hates children named Anastasia.
I know.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Her last name wasn't Romanoff, was it?
I don't know.
Probably.
Not been released yet.
That was a bad joke.
Yeah, but so... Yeah, what is up with Russia?
What is up with the world?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Also true.
We are falling apart.
Like,
Human
it's
race.
It's fucked.
Pull it
Awful.
together.
It's because
Oh,
of
what
the
did they do with
uneducated.
the woman?
Yeah.
Like, what did they do with her?
Arrested her.
Thank God.
And so far we don't know much else. We know that she was born in 1977 and she's from Central Asia. That's all they've released.
So weird.
So far, the police refuse to say that the case is terror-related.
Even though she yelled.
Well, that is kind of terror-related,
I think
scaring
she was maybe
people.
just
I mean,
crazy.
you feel like
Certainly possible.
yeah,
Very well could
there's a
be.
possibility. But there's a lot of people who get into religion, regardless of faith, who just really believe their religion or what they've been indoctrinated, and go crazy,
Yeah.
and believing that's the only truth, which is nuts.
Yeah.
Trump
Not
supporters.
quite sure what that has to do with waving around a severed child head.
But then wasn't she doing it because of her religion?
Yeah.
That is it. Probably she was indoctrinated by.
I'm just not sure of any religion
extremists.
that demands you wave around severed child heads.
No, but-
Alvaro's extremely religious.
It's the act,
Yes.
of doing it. That there, But though, what made her want to do it? It was her religion, right?
And she was also probably just a little fucking crazy.
That,
Yeah.
She has been ordered to undergo a psychological evaluation.
I would hope so.
Yes.
What?
Wow.
Her?
Yeah.
No.
So, Russia
Unnecessary.
Oh.
officially wins the creepiest terrorist award?
Of the moment, at least.
Yeah. I hope they don't get any creepier.
Oh, jeez.
I hope.
Other ones have
not.
had much higher death counts, but this one's possibly the
And
creepiest.
just sad.
It is so sad. I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, another controversy that's going on. Lots of people talking about it, debating what should be done, if anything, about reservations, Native American reservations. The police just went through and raided 2 different reservations, and both of them.
Wait, did they have jurisdiction first of all to go into these reservations? Because they're acting like these are supposed to be sovereign countries within the United States.
That's what the controversy is about now. So, the most recent one, the one that's actually got people talking, was called Operation Northern Lights. And Operation Northern Lights took place in the Turtle Mountain Indian Reservation. They went in there. This reservation is 6 miles long by 12 miles wide. This is a really, really small Indian reservation. They went in there, they did a raid, and they managed to arrest 18 wanted fugitives for drug trafficking, aggravated assault, gun smuggling, money laundering, all sorts of other things. People who've just been hiding out on the reservation.
But does it, you got to think about it though, does this reservation though have a treaty where the police are allowed to go on there? Maybe some type of a thing like that? Because I know California reservations have some kind of a treaty where they pay taxes to the state and stuff.
Yeah.
And then certain give and take stuff.
Yes,
Back and
and
forth.
apparently it's almost exactly 50-50. About half of the reservations have an extradition treaty where they will ship out wanted fugitives, but half of them do not. And again, this is just the most recent one where it came up.
Wow. Like I know there was something going on around Santa Cruz where they caught somebody at a reservation and I guess Santa Cruz was trying to get the guy back to a reservation. Just like maybe like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
Really
But so
interesting.
this is a really, really small reservation. Again, 6 by 12 miles. And there were
Wow.
18 wanted fugitives hiding there.
Wow, that's crazy.
So what should be done about that, if anything? All these reservations where they really can't police in a lot of these, and a lot of them they don't want to, and we've got piles and piles of people in there. Again, what if a serial killer walked onto a reservation?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's true.
They start killing reservation members. At that point, somebody might call for help.
Yeah. Well, most of the reservations have a policy where if you're on their territory, it's a sovereign country, so they don't do anything unless you've broken any laws there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just hang out on the reservation, walk off, serial kill a little bit more, go back onto the reservation. You're good.
Wow.
That's tough because it's kind of like leaving the country in
Mhm.
a way, but they haven't. So.
So, folks, if you're planning to get into crime, just remember, be sure to go to your nearest Indian reservation for salvation.
Well, but this is a double-edged sword, too.
We here at the A&A Coffeehouse podcast do not support murder or anything of the
Most
like.
other crimes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but again, this is a double-edged sword. Another reoccurring problem that a lot of Indian reservations have. This is a reoccurring problem many Indian reservations list this as one of their biggest concerns because they cannot arrest people off of their reservation. So quite a few of the reservations, especially down in the American Southwest, lots of men go onto the Indian reservation, basically kidnap women, rape them a whole bunch, and then step off the reservation. Hey, there's nothing you can do about it now.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
fucked. Something
That
gotta be
is.
done.
That's super horrible.
They need a new treaty, pretty much. Like all these tribes need to come together, make some kind of treaty with, like, let's say, the federal government that will probably.
Like, yeah, if you've committed
yeah.
a violent crime or a felony
Mhm.
of any kind, you should be able to be. It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
Police should have a right to find you. I'm not saying they should raid innocent people's houses.
Yeah,
with
they
the drop of a hat.
still have to follow the basic, procedures and laws and stuff.
But so one of the reasons a lot of the Indian reservations want this stuff is a lot of the states don't recognize a lot of the things the Indian reservations have legal. For example, a
Gambling.
great many of them you can gamble, or peyote is still legal to smoke, or prostitution is legal.
Really? I didn't know
Wow.
And several of these states have said, okay, we're going to have an extradition treaty, so the police say, okay, we can go arrest lawbreakers, walk in and start arresting the Indians.
So,
Look, you're doing
folks.
prostitution or peyote or gambling.
So, folks, if you want to get laid and you're a nerd or anything, go to an Indian reservation. It's perfectly
Plenty of
legal.
nerds.
Really awkward
get
considering
laid.
we just talked about
That
going to
was
reservations to rape
offensive.
people.
This whole conversation is somewhat offensive.
If you hear the A&A Coffeehouse podcast, do not support.
It's all
Yeah, so-
jokes, folks. I don't mean anything bad. I'm
The
sorry.
Indian reservations might be a bigger topic coming up in the near future. All right. Now, on to coffee beans.
Hi again. I hope you've enjoyed the specials of the week. There are still some coffee grounds left over that we've yet to discuss, so stick around while we close up shop to hear what the staff has to gossip about.
All right. Our very first coffee bean is coming from Liz.
So, I don't know how many of you read the Sunday New York Times, the book recommendations and reviews that they do every week. It's pretty much the only part of that huge paper that I do read. And I don't always read that whole thing either.
Yeah.
But I was reading one about the right wrong man, John
I've heard about this.
Demjanjuk, and the last great Nazi war crimes trial. It sounded really interesting.
That sounds
I
interesting.
have
yeah.
not read it yet, but I was just reading the review of it and thinking, this sounds really interesting. It's about
Right.
some guy they had been trailing as Ivan the Terrible, which maybe you've heard of. He was like this infamous internment camp guy who was just like horrible. He would just torture people for no reason. He was just
Right.
awful. And they were trailing this guy who ended up in, I want to say, Cleveland, working like a normal guy. And they were thinking it was him, that he was Ivan the Terrible and he had escaped. But it turned out to be a different Ivan with almost the same name as that guy.
Awkward.
And he was a Nazi, but he was not the one they
The
were
same
looking
one.
for.
Oh,
my
so
God,
he
that's
was
crazy.
Ivan. He's Ivan the not so
Yeah,
terrible.
the less terrible Nazi.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
it's called the right wrong man. So he is a
Right.
Nazi, but he's not Ivan the Terrible.
Ah.
He's just Ivan the Nazi.
I have not read it yet, but I'm tempted to buy it because it just sounds really interesting.
That sounds
Yeah.
super interesting.
See, this was recommended to me by, I think, a robot.
By a robot?
Elaborate.
Was it BB-8 or was it Johnny 5? Did Johnny 5 come in and he's like, "You need input, book."
I think one of those robots that does the stuff at Amazon sent me an email saying, Adam, I think you might like this book.
Oh,
So like
okay.
a targeted ad.
Yeah.
You probably would then. If I end up buying it, I will share it with history lovers. And World War II
Yes.
is always an interesting
Yeah.
era because it's so fascinating and so terrible.
Mhm.
I'm glad someone else recommended it. I don't trust Amazon ever since they sent me an email saying, Adam, we recommend for you Blasphemy.
Oh. Well, if it comes from the New York Times,
Yeah, it's
generally it's reputable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the time, but for the most part,
Yeah.
which is cool.
That's awesome.
All right. Tony, you're next.
No,
So,
never.
NASA has announced that astronaut Scott Kelly, he's back here and back to Earth for his almost a year-long trip up in space.
Yeah, the world record.
Yeah, but for the U.S. His U.S. world record. There's actually been people who've been up there longer, but yeah, he's back, and they said he grew 2 inches. Now they have to try to rebuild his muscles and stuff. Yeah. Oh no, his height grew 2 inches with height, not anywhere else. But I figure that's what your ladies were laughing at.
No.
That's not what we were laughing
No,
at.
no.
Oh.
Now it's dirty.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. But yeah,
Bye.
that's bye. So yeah, he grew 2 inches in height, and yeah, they're doing all these different research. They're looking at his twin brother, Mark Kelly, and they're just comparing the two because one was on Earth for forever. It says the last it says the last space shuttle mission, wherever that was. And then his brother, who was up in space there, so they're just comparing the two, see if there's anything different in the way they move and things like that, and health reasons, just to prepare to go to Mars in the future. Yeah.
Wow.
But though they said it was a year-long trip, though, which was really weird. They said he's only been up there for 340 days. Like, that's not exactly a year, but they keep advertising it as a year. So it's like, maybe lunar year? I don't know.
Could be.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I was really excited about that when it happened.
Yeah.
I was keeping an eye on how that was going.
Yeah, that is really, really cool.
I'm looking forward to hearing the results. Well, and now that they're talking about we might be able to get to Mars in, 3 days?
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, NASA came out and said there's no reason why we have to use the fuel we've been using right now. We can totally use the photon catchers.
Oh, yeah, because they have the...
Photon sails.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. But they also have to keep in mind they have to wait to a certain part of the year where Mars is closest to us.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because that would change the
speed and the
landing
time.
Luckily, I imagine someone at NASA is smart enough to...
figure
But-
that out.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But I definitely hope, though, that... I know some people want them to go to Mars and then land immediately. But I kind of wanted to be kind of like just for safety reasons, like the old days where they did things in phases while going to the moon or going to Mars. I know there's stuff we've learned from the moon, but the atmosphere is slightly different. There's that. And then also, we should at least... The first goal is getting someone to Mars. We don't have to put them on Mars. Let's see if we can fly to Mars and then fly back from Mars.
Gotcha.
That's the
I think
first
the
thing.
reason for that is because it's so ridiculously expensive and takes so much time. If we can get someone to Mars, we may as well land them there. That's what
Yeah.
they're saying.
I mean, that's true, but they also got to just do the basic stuff just to make sure that they don't get stranded on Mars and die.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
part of how that works
It's
is when they
experiments,
do those things, they plan like multiple missions. So you guys get there, and as long as everything is working fine, we move into phase 2. Phase 2 is you land. Now, is everything working fine? Everything went perfect, so we will move on to phase 3. If it's not, end at phase 2, still mission successful. We just didn't move to phase 3, then 4, then 5.
Now, what would be really cool is if they decided to go from Earth to Mars, but have they just made like a base or something, floating around Mars, and they just have people getting ready. Then the next crew comes in, and then
That's
that
pretty
crew
cool.
I think
leaves.
that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty
That would
awesome.
be really cool. Like some sort of space station.
Yeah.
That allows for the rotating astronaut team.
They should totally give it a robot named Hal.
No, they should not. What? Why? No.
No, that's if they were going to Jupiter.
And no, that ended so badly.
Yeah. Some weird psychedelic drug thing at the end, and then all of a sudden he's an old man in bed or a fetus, a floating fetus walking
Star
around.
Child.
Did you see the third and final book in the trilogy is being made into a miniseries?
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
There's already
Isn't it
2001, then there's 2010,
so? This
which
would
is
be
already a movie.
yeah, 3001.
Yeah. And then 3001, I think, is
Yeah.
the third one. And that's being made into a 6-part miniseries?
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad that they're doing it like that.
Don't know. Don't remember.
'Cause it would suck if they had to
I forgot about the
remake
entire
it.
thing, I just brought it up.
Yeah.
It would suck if they had to remake the other films just to catch up to this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So, yeah.
cool.
Alright. Ariel, your bean.
Okay. For my coffee bean today, I'm going to talk about porn. Woo! So anyway, somebody, I don't know who did it, they checked Pornhub. That's what it was. They checked Pornhub to see the
No,
most...
Pornhub did it.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pornhub conducted this, not survey, they checked their search queue and looked for the most searched terms by state.
Wow.
And I will post the map because it's very interesting, but some of the interesting ones are, do you guys know, Adam knows because he looked over my shoulder, Tony, can you guess what the highest searched term is?
And I was looking it up earlier.
Lesbian.
Oh, lesbian.
Lesbian porn is the most popular. I'm not going to stay here and count all the states that have it, but more states than not search lesbian porn the most.
Then the second highest, which I find horrifying, I don't know about you guys, is stepsister.
Sister porn?
Stepsister is the next highest searched.
Wow. Well, that means though, but still, you're not. It's not.
It's
You're not
pretty
related,
gross.
but
It's
it
pretty
is kind of gross. Yeah.
The third highest is stepmom.
Wow.
Alaska really likes stepmom porn.
All of these are northern states.
Yeah.
Kind of just the whole northern region.
Yeah.
Stepsister and stepmom.
Yeah.
In
And then
Kentucky.
the next highest is cartoon. Then there's
Cartoon porn.
cartoon. I see 4 states. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. 4 states. MILF. And then for some reason Hawaii is the only one Asian.
Wow.
It's just all the Hawaiian islands say Asian.
Fascinating.
Yeah. People are pretty gross. Stepmom and stepsister? Like, why is that a turn on? Why is that what so many people are like, yes, stepmom? No judgment if either of you look that up. I'm sorry.
It's weird.
It's
No.
just super weird.
But though they're not related.
I would
Really,
be
but
much more
that's
upset
why.
about it if it was biological mom.
Oh yeah, that would be
So
sick.
messed up.
Or even whoa.
Like they specify biological.
Yeah.
Oh god, that'd be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my coffee bean. Adam?
Alright. I have 2 because they're both remarkably short.
You only get 1. You don't get to just do 2.
Alvaro's done 2 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's because Alvaro just flies off the handle because he's Spanish.
Yeah.
You know better.
So, I've got 2 because they're both short. One of them. We need to do this.
Glass slide will be suspended 1,000 feet above downtown Los Angeles.
Look at
Los
that.
Angeles. Holy.
They're building a glass slide on a skyscraper in LA, connecting the 70th floor to the 69th. It is on the outside of the building.
So, okay, just so that you guys can hear what this looks like, and we'll post it, is basically, so you have the floor, and then it basically kind of looks like it's coming out of a window, and there's these metal bars holding up what looks like this weird glass box, but it's elongated, so it's like a tube,
That looks cool.
Yeah, I want to do it.
and then it goes to a deck.
But it only goes down one floor.
Yes, but this is also just one of the attractions of, I think, 7 in this thing that they call Sky Space LA.
Just saying, going down a
multi-level
full
experience.
floor is impressive.
Yes, but I was hoping
From up
like
that
maybe 3
high.
or 4 floors. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm sure that it's probably really expensive to
Yeah.
go into.
So this is just one part of a multi-level experience called Sky Space LA, which also includes an observation deck being the highest in California,
Wow.
looking out over all of LA.
Yeah, downtown LA I know is going through a massive regentrification kind of thing where they're just they want people to literally live downtown.
Yeah,
And downtown used to be mainly just businesses only.
yeah.
So they're doing a lot. They're changing a lot, adding like apartments and stuff like that. And now they're also adding giant slides.
Yeah.
I
Glass
don't,
slides on the
I don't think I could
skyscrapers.
ever do that.
I want to do this one.
I'd like to consider myself fairly brave, but it's glass.
Yeah, that's why it sounds fun.
That's why it's creepy.
Alright, my other one. In the Libyan desert, there's a cave with weird rock pictures, like caveman style, where the cavemen painted pictures. And one of them is this red space with a whole bunch of hands. And for a long time, it's been a mystery. They're really creepy hands. And everyone's gone like, what's going on here? And there's been theories saying, is it aliens? Are there alien hands or something? And we don't know what it is. A bunch of scientists just looked it up, anthropologists, and they've officially announced that they aren't human hands. They are reptiles.
What?
So reptiles and humans were making cave paintings together?
Okay, I'm looking at this.
Yeah, Tony, come look at the picture again.
Wow. I gotta check this out.
Yeah, because it
So
doesn't
they've
make
announced
sense.
these handprints were not made by human hands.
Oh,
they
that's
are
really-
reptiles.
Really,
Wow.
really, really creepy. Because they look like human hands.
Yeah. So maybe these were reptiles walking on a wall or something?
Making cave paintings. Look,
And
there's a bunch of
weirdly-
stick figures up there fighting something. There's
Well,
like
no,
some
maybe
beast
people
down there.
drew around it.
Actually,
That's true.
according to the anthropologists, a lot of people immediately said, oh my god, it's the reptilians or the aliens.
Oh my god.
And the scientists said, no, what we think they did is we think humans made it. humans made the
took
cave painting,
lizard
and then
hands?
humans got lizard hands and imprinted the lizard hands like stamps all over the wall.
Wow.
That's kind of cute.
This has been the A&A Coffeehouse podcast. Once again, I'm Adam Kincaid, here with Anthony DeFranco, producer Ariel Ayers, guest host Elizabeth Jeter. Bye, see you later! The music you heard in the beginning is from the band The Corner Laughers. And please join us again next week.
So grab yourself a cup of coffee and tune in.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for visiting today, but the coffee house is now closed. We'll be open for business again next week, same time, same place. Join us again then, and we'll have a set of new specials ready for you to sample, and more riveting conversation to be had.